Hi, my name is Kate Moore and I'm the author of The Radium Girls. I'm recording this video for the members of our shared shelf. Thank you all so much for reading the girl story and for sending in your questions. I'm going to answer your questions in a series of short videos where I've tried to group the questions thematically. So this first video is about the genesis of the book. And the first question comes from Authorless1990 on Instagram, and they say, tell me why I should read your book. Now, why you should read The Radium Girls is because these women are so important. They sacrificed so much so that other people could be safe, and they are important to remember. It's so significant what they sacrificed, what they contributed to humanity, and their personal stories are so compelling, so heartbreaking, that I think everyone should remember them and honour them by reading this book, because this is their story and it's told in their words, and I just hope that people will do them the honour of reading the book and remembering their sacrifice, remembering everything they gave for us. A series of people asked a similar question, which was essentially what spark ignited you to start writing? What inspired you? You know, what made you want to pick the Radium Girls to write about? And the answer is that I just felt they deserved a book. I was astonished that no one had written a book about the individual women before. There were books about their scientific contribution and their legal contribution, but there was nothing that focused on the women and told their stories. So my inspiration was to restore them to collective memory and to ensure that there was a record of what they'd been through, of their journeys and their experiences. So that was the spark. And Lee7493 said, what was the first idea you had for the book? And the idea was always that I would write it as a narrative, so it reads like a novel, because I wanted the story to be accessible. I didn't want to put people off by the science and the law. I wanted you to know that these women were women, they were human, they weren't just scientific guinea pigs, and I wanted, you know, the idea was that the book would enable you to connect with the women themselves. Alyson from GoodReads says, which one of the girls' stories hit you the hardest and why? And I think for me it wasn't one girl, but what would happen as I was writing is that the individual moments that were important to that woman hit me the hardest. So when I was writing Albina's story and got to the moment where this long awaited, long longed for baby that she fell pregnant with, you know, that moment of joy and then the horror as the baby is stillborn, that was really hard to write about. And the moment when Catherine Donahue is, you know, writing to Father Keane begging for a miracle because she wants to live for her children, that was really hard to write about. You know, Grace Fryer with her broken back, Quinta MacDonald with, you know, the plaster that she had to wear encasing her from her diaphragm to her knees. All of these things were really hard to write about. So it wasn't one girl's story, but it was the, you know, the details of their suffering that hit me the hardest. Where whoever I was with at that moment, that was what was very hard to sort of, you know, react to write, to relive with them. So it wasn't one girl necessarily. Roshio Zero asks, how did you come across this very real, very tragic story? The answer is that I directed a play about the women called These Shining Lives. I found that play by Googling great plays for women, and the moment I found the script, it's written by Melanie Marnich, and the moment I found it, I fell in love with these girls, and through my research for the play, realised there's no book about them, and that's how my book came to be. And there's a final follow-up question from Rossi Zero, which says, will it be made into a movie? Because I think people should know about these stories. I totally agree with you. I think the women deserve a film that is authentic, that is true to their experiences, that portrays them, the real women, you know, just as they lived. This is a remarkable, incredible, heartbreaking true story. There has been some interest from Hollywood, which is very exciting, but everything moves very slowly and there's nothing sort of confirmed or nothing that I can announce yet. But I really hope that the women get the film that they deserve. Thanks.